Hello everyone, welcome. I see that YouTube chat is fighting over the #1 spot in the leaderboards. Good luck everybody participating in the gladiator arena fights. Okay, well, this is where I admit that I have nothing planned for today's stream. I have no idea what to work on. So for the next 2 hours and a half, 3 hours, allow me to present to you a one-man a cappella rendition of the 2015 musical Hamilton. Alright, I'm not actually doing that, but it is true that I have no fucking clue what to do today. So hello everyone. Let's figure that out. If my mouse decides to not glitch on me, that is. Because it's a possibility, but we're good. Okay, what did I even do yesterday? Oh yeah, this shit. Be nice, everyone. You don't wanna face him. Okay, I do remember what I did yesterday. I worked on package info. So now applications can have a package.info file that can look like this. It's my good friend Tommel. That's the format. Although, because I made my parser somewhat, you know, it's absolute shit. We just saw the code for it here. It's not good, but it just so happens that it ignores garbage values for the most part. Either it ignores them or they crash the entire system, no in between. But it means that it's the Tommel format, but it also allows, for example, like C-style comments, or you can just put whatever the fuck you want in here. I'm pretty sure it's gonna accept it. Let's find out, actually. I'm not sure. Yeah, that's pretty good. Wait, except there's a chance that maybe it didn't get copied over. Oh, this is... No, wait. It's here. Okay. Package.info. It did get copied over, and it worked. So yeah, you can just write whatever you want. For the most part, it works. Or it crashes the system. Like I said, no in between. So that's cool. Then towards the end of the stream, I tested it a little bit on the package.info for the template project for the system, which allows you to download. I actually do have something planned for today. I completely forgot. I just came back to me right now. So okay, well, we'll do that. We'll do that. But yeah, this template repository on GitHub allows you to make a Redacted OS app pretty easily, because it includes all the stuff that you need, and essentially just a template makefile, and now a template package.info, and I guess a template linker and template main.c. You probably should say it before you forget again. Thank you. Yes, so yesterday in passing I mentioned, and somebody was asking before, because they did a pull request, about command line tools in the application. We have a terminal in the application now, in the operating system. This is an operating system. I know that because I've been working on it for 6 months. Except when I made my first video, I called it an operative system, but such is the price of being trilingual. So we have a terminal. And a little bit of a rendering bug, but we also have a terminal. You know, fuck it, it's fixed. And the terminal can run well, right now it can run one command, but because of a pull request, it can run 3 different commands: cat, ping, and traceroute, I believe. I haven't tested it, to be honest, but I know the pull request is there. And it's completely glitched, so can we fix it? Or will it crash the entire system if I do? It worked. It's just as glitched, Jesus Christ. Alright, let's just ignore the glitches. What the fuck? Is this a new glitch with the terminal that I haven't seen before? I don't know what's happening. But anyway, you can use the cat command and it tells you the usage. This comes from the cat command itself, but the cat command isn't really in the file system anywhere. It's literally just here in a folder that gets compiled into the kernel itself and then gets put into a kernel level process. So cat is a kernel process, which means so are ping and traceroute in the pull request. The pull request is this one, by the way. The only one that's open right now, I believe. Which actually means that I have one more pull request open than Linux does. So that's pretty cool. Oh wait, there's two. Wait, never mind. There's also this one. I am so bad with fucking pull requests. Jesus Christ. Both at work and in this project. And I used to tell, at first when people started doing pull requests on this project, I was like, well, it's different than it is at work because this is my project. So I'm very interested in the pull requests that come in. Whereas when it comes to work, I'm more so focused on my own tasks. But now I'm just bad at pull requests. That's just my weakness, I guess. But yeah, cat, ping, traceroute. And as we can see here, there's literally just an array of available commands. And then that leads to this run cat run. Oh wait, never mind. This is the same line. Run cat run ping and run. Oh my god, I cannot speak. Run cat run ping and run trace route functions, which are literally the actual executable of the program. So, not ideal. This means we're stuck with kernel level process. It has to be compiled with the kernel, and it makes no sense. And there's a very limited number of commands that you can have. So, the main limitation is that there currently isn't a place to put all commands. So we can create that. Kind of happens on big projects. It's a me thing, to be honest. I'm just not very good with pull requests, and it's not like my project is gigantic. I have 2 pull requests. So not particularly difficult to do this. Essentially, we just need to put cat in its own command and then let it be available to the system somehow in a specific folder, and then let it execute that command and pass command line arguments to it, which is normally not a thing that you can do. This is going to be separated between the packages, the .red packages, like the 3 that we just saw, including the terminal itself, and command line programs. They're going to be completely separate. So command line programs are going to live in bin. I'm not going to do a path or anything like that. A terminal commands and programs were hard-coded into the kernel instead of being separate programs. Exactly. I still don't understand what YouTube XP, how it works, to be honest. Genuinely no idea. But I also don't see it on OBS, so it's not like I... Yeah, you have some. You're number 1 right now. Apparently it was for only people over 18, but that's also not true. So, no clue. No clue. Or maybe it used to be for people over 18, now it's for everybody, I don't know. But from what I can see, all of you who have chatted so far have XP. But this is okay. All right, so we're gonna do this. Tiny issue. I probably, if I had remembered that this is what I wanted to work on today, I probably would have looked at this pull request a little bit more than I did and accepted it and merged it, because then it's my responsibility to port it over instead of after he opened the pull request being like, hey, redo the damn thing entirely. So I did look at it. Just want to make sure that there's nothing I missed. It made some changes in networking dispatch, which I'm not super sure about. Okay, think we're good. There's a time limit. If you're long enough in stream, you can go from 75 to 125. Then wait longer, you can go. Damn, that's such a complicated system. Okay, you know what? Again, I did look at the pull request a little bit, but not a whole lot. So here's what we're gonna do with it. We're gonna edit the pull request, and we're gonna put it in its own branch. And that way, if there's something wrong with the pull request, I can just fix it without, you know, completely breaking main, but I don't think that's going to be a problem. You don't see it. Let me reload. Command line. Change the base. All right. Now wait. This is how you approve a pull request, but we can skip that step. Just merge it, just making sure it's in the command line. We're good. And it's merged. Did I just merge malware into the system? Who the fuck knows? I know I didn't, but you know. I made like 1 million changes on this computer, so that's kind of a problem. Also, I disabled networking on this computer because it just inexplicably just doesn't fucking work. So, will it work now? It worked now. And now we're gonna merge or whatever the hell is. Oh god damn it, there's conflicts. Whatever I wrote on there. Yeah, so conflict wise, we're gonna resolve using stash changes. Thank you. And we're then gonna unstage them, because none of these are actually meant to be staged. They're just patches for this computer, which for whatever reason doesn't want to do networking correctly. Even though it powers like my entire home network, but yeah, somehow it just, maybe that's why. I don't know. Okay. Let's run it. How big can I make this number? Alright, that's too much. Still too much. That works. Alright, maybe it doesn't. Never mind. 832 threads. Let's go. Okay, so it works. And we can ping. That's about right, because I misspelled the URL. A little bit of a rendering bug there, but it worked. Okay, can we try pinging an actual computer that exists on my network? Timed out. How the fuck am I gonna do that when networking is disabled? I'm very smart. I'm very smart. I have a... How many threads did I use to compile this thing? That's my IQ. You know, 1,832. That's my IQ. Ping localhost, I don't believe is gonna work. From what I hear, localhost doesn't technically work. Actually, if you want to do networking even on your own computer from Redacted OS right now, you need to kind of do like your IP. And by the way, I don't have a syscall to give you your IP or any way for you to know your IP besides looking in the logs and copying it manually. So a little bit of a limitation right now, but oh well. Sucks to be you if you're trying to do something with networking, I guess. Can you do ping localhost? Localhost? Probably not. Ping localhost. No. Can I ping 0000? No, time's out. Networking is completely disabled, mind you, so obviously none of this is gonna work. 100% packet loss. Oh boy, I feel like there's a problem with my network. Oh boy, I wonder what it is. Why is this not working? Somebody made just a broken pull request. I hate when this happens. Swear to God. Now, obviously, okay, those are not gonna work, but we see that they work. It prints the errors properly, and is it implemented using pull? Not entirely sure on the internals of it. It has all this down. It's a lot of options. It's a very, very complex program, as you can see. The actual implementation of it? Oh boy. Seems, if I'm not mistaken... No, it also resolves DNS. Oh. Ok. Well, you see, this is most likely... It's in shared networking, but I don't know that it's actually shared. I wouldn't be surprised if these libraries used some stuff that you cannot use from userland. So maybe I won't be able to port these, but I was thinking a hybrid approach anyway, that some command line tools work with the ELF file thing, and some don't. So we'll get to that. All right, so we're gonna do this to do. Move to OS bin. We're only gonna do it for cat. Traceroute and ping are gonna stay where they are because I'm pretty sure they're probably using some internal networking stuff that's not available to userland. You don't... I don't know if you need to do setup. On Mac, you need sudo privileges because QEMU is not signed with networking entitlements. On Linux, you do need to do a whole bunch of setup that I haven't done. So local networking refers, I believe, only to its own computer, its own little network, essentially. I'm not sure. And on this Mac, it just doesn't fucking work. I don't know about Windows. All right, we're not gonna do that. Like I said, we're gonna do this instead. Okay, so that means we're gonna go outside of kernel, user, utils, and we're going to create a new folder. Exciting moment when this happens. Not in there. In here. Not in here either. God damn it. You just let me select this. Thank you. Folder called bin. It is going to contain our programs. What are these programs going to look like? We're going to have a folder. Cat is going to have a makefile. This is going to be the template one, and then bin is going to have a makefile as well. That's going to be very similar to the utils makefile, if not to say a complete copy and paste. It's just going to compile all of its subdirectories. Yeah, kind of like that. That works. The makefile for the bin, for the actual command line thing, it's going to be a little different. It's going to be a stripped down version of this one because it doesn't, it's not nearly as complicated as this one is. Okay. Let me just save this makefile, which I noticed isn't saved. Close others, and let's begin. All right, so it relies on the shared library. That's about right. Contains syscalls and stuff, so useful. ODC and CPP. Chester, god damn it. Come. Yeah, I hear you. Hello. Okay. I'm not gonna... You may go. Get on the... No, I'm not. Get out. Okay. Elf, bin... Okay, package... Not gonna happen. We're always compiling a .elf and a .bin, which is like the .elf but stripped down. I'm gonna keep doing that because I should support just executables without a file format attached to them. But yeah, I don't actually support them. They're just there for the sake of it. Okay, so we're gonna get rid of the package stuff. We're gonna get rid of this prepare step. This prepare step is the one that creates like the directory structure for the packaging. We don't have a package anymore, so the entire thing, I believe, can go. Except for the build directory, so never mind. Bring it back. Bring it all back. We're just gonna get rid of resources. We're gonna get rid of making the package, and we're gonna get rid of copying the resources to the package. Okay. Instead of package/target, it is just going to be target. So you make the .bin, sure, with libshared, the non-kernel version of it, and all the obj files. That part should stay about the same. This one has no change to it. That's good. Can you move the camera down? Why? Oop. Also, okay. I think my microphone is good. I was trying to change it with a different microphone, but that didn't work out. It sounded all weird. Oh, on the screen. All right, that makes more sense. Let me put it back in its original position. Although, let me see if I can... I almost always have the, this thing open. So I might as well put my camera like here. So it doesn't cover the code. Or put it back up here. And then I need to make the chat smaller, and that's sadly in a different scene, so I'll be right back. All right. That should make the chat not cover my camera. And my camera not cover the chat. They shouldn't overlap anymore. Although, to be fair, hold on, it's an overcomplicated setup. I'll be right back again. All right. Please don't break. All right, we're good. Okay, that's better. Wow. You can't see that, but the chat reaches right to here. And I did that without actually looking at where the camera was, so pretty good guess on my end. Okay. So. Okay, well, you compile the .bin with the shared library, the objs. You compile it into just the elf file itself alone, with the build directory objs and the lib shared library. You then obj copy the elf file into the bin file. And then you don't copy the package, you copy the elf to the location, which is redOS bin. In that case, we're also going to want to make dir location. Since that folder doesn't currently exist, it should create the folder and then compile our file into that. Studio mode exists for editing a view while showing viewers a different view. Jesus Christ, I need that. Oh my god. The worst part is I knew about that. I just completely forgot. I just have no idea how it works, but I'm gonna test it for a second. Even though now I only have two views. I only have this one and this one. That one. Yeah, which my microphone is disabled. But how do I use this shit? Do I drag and drop? No. That's not how you do it. I have no idea how this works. All right, well, it's not important right now. Studio mode, get the fuck out of here. Thank you, G Studios. I bet you would know about studios. That makes sense. All right. So that's it. Yeah, that should be good. Oh, bin is target. So it's better to put the .elf. Whoops. How did I do that? Oh, F11, right. All right. Command is ready. We'll just have to actually create it. Our cat program. By just copying it over. Yeah, but not deleting it entirely. We're going to make its function a main function. We're going to need a linker. Currently don't have. This is a problem. All right. We don't have our current process ID. And currently, a process writing to print doesn't actually print to its own proc out file. This one right here. So maybe I'll do that too. The chat is on the right on full screen. Really? Oh yeah, it is. Okay. So this is not gonna work, pretty much. I wonder if this would work. Can I write to the kernel's output from a random program? You know what? Let's find out. Okay. Instead of open file, we're just gonna fopen with the exact same arguments. Instead of write file, we're gonna fwrite, same arguments. Instead of close file, we're gonna fclose. And instead of reading a file, we're gonna fread. The rest should all work in the exact same way. Besides that, what else do we call? String functions, write, free, parse, int, fopen, string format. Yeah, okay. The obviously this command is pretty simple. It doesn't need a whole lot of. I mean, not this command line tool is pretty simple. It doesn't need a whole lot. So we'll just need to get rid of this, and this. And we'll just keep syscalls. Okay. Easy. And we'll get rid of this to do. So that's no longer needed. Okay, so I still have the issue of the output. The process was writing to its own output by knowing its process ID and writing to proc something out. It shouldn't be difficult to do this. You shouldn't have to have any difficulty doing this if you want to do it manually like that. Although I should also make it so that printf automatically goes to the process's standard output. And I even reserved some file descriptors for that. So if you go to file descriptor 1, that should be your standard input, and 2 should be your standard output. That's not a thing that I have implemented. Maybe I'll implement it today, maybe not. But it's also a good thing that you need to be able to know your process ID. Like, this is not privileged information that I cannot give you. It's okay for me to tell you your process ID. So maybe I should implement a way to do that. Yeah, compilation-wise, all the code is there. We're just going to very quickly also copy over a linker file, because without that, we're not going to be able to blink. There we go. Linker stays exactly the same. Nothing about this changes. Nothing special about it. And now, actually, let me run the entire damn thing. Util. Okay, pretty much what I did for this should work if I just do this. And this should work. Is that it? That might be it. Okay. Will it now compile our bin file and put it in the correct place in one go without having tested it step by step? No. No. But the makefile configuration is correct because it says that it doesn't know how to do cat.bin. So it's a mistake in this makefile, which means that this one works and the other one works. There's a lot of chaining going on, so kind of happy about that. Okay, it complains that there isn't a way to make a /cat.bin. Why /cat? Obviously there isn't. There's a rule for making cat.bin without the slash at the beginning of it. So that's what I'm not sure about. Probably this. I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. No, that's not it. Oh, it comes from here. Although it works for the terminal. So here it says that it's trying to make terminal dash dot. And here it's trying to do cat dash dot, which is kind of weird. Why are you trying to do that? But then the terminal is able to do that. Its makefile is capable of... Oh, because it has a rule for a terminal read... Yeesh, okay. It's this. This is missing, that's it. There we go. There we go. Cat.elf. The cat is out of the bag. Sorry, Jester. I know you don't like cats. A bin, a cat.elf. There we have it. All right, our elf file is created. Now, that's step number 1. Okay, bin makefile, bin cat, bin linker, bin makefile. Gonna discard this. Okay. Cat's in the bin. Again. Because it was already in the bin, but a different bin. Now it's in this bin. Okay. Now, I need to modify the bin mod thing. The available commands here. First, here's how it's gonna work. Check we're gonna check shared RedOS bin to see if it contains a program called progname.elf. If so, execute and return. Execute as userland. Okay, so it's a pretty simple thing to do. But it requires listing the contents of a directory. A syscall that I've mentioned I've wanted to refactor for the longest time, and I still haven't fucking done. So, sucks to be me. Because now I have to decide, do I take this entire different route and refactor this syscall, or do I ignore that and just create one more place in which I will have to replace it once I do refactor it? I'm going for the second one. It's not going to be a big difference once I do refactor it, but it's going to be a little bit of a pain in the ass if I don't do that. You don't have access to the file system, so include file system, and we're gonna do a list directory contents for shared RedOS bin. That easy, actually. If it has a valid pointer, not entirely sure how this works, to be honest. Well, I was talking about, oh, there's going to be places where I need to refactor. There's literally 2 places where I'm using this function. It's not going to be a big deal. Pretty much have to do this. Copy and paste. Okay. I'll keep this to do. Sad, but yeah, there's no way to free that memory for now, and there will need to be. That's the entire reason I want to refactor this function. It just doesn't make any sense in terms of memory management. Okay. File is just the name of the file. Okay, not even the extension, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. No, it should include the extension, but I'm not sure. All right, let's just see. We can just print the file. That should give us what information this gives us. Does it give us just the file name or the file extension? And just in case, we're going to print the... Oh no, here, it includes the file extension because I used this find extension thing to find the file extension. So easy, that already answers my question. Okay, if the file exists, we're going to string compare the file and, oh, no, the prog name. No, that's not right. String concatenate the prog I hate this string concatenate function because it requires me to allocate 2 strings just to then put them together. It makes no sense. You know what? This one I am gonna redo. I'm just gonna make a pure string without using the string class, just a char pointer version of it. And as always, I'm not even gonna look into memory management for this. I probably should. But oh, const char des doesn't make any sense. You're right. I'm writing to a destination buffer, but I have no idea how big that buffer is. So that kind of sucks. But oh well. The less I can use the string class, the better off we are, so. What? malloc is undefined because I'm not included syscalls. Okay. See, now I love that I can use malloc from the kernel, so I don't have to care too much about memory allocations and where I'm allocating everything. Because most of the times I'm like allocating memory pages just so then I can do one allocation inside of that, and it doesn't make any sense. So having a malloc that just allocates and I don't care where that memory goes, it's a lot easier. Okay, so you're going to compare to the full name. And if that matches, then we found the program. We're going to free the full name. Is there a str free? No, there's a string free, but not an str free. Okay. Okay, so we're going to allocate this amount, and then we're going to free the same amount from full name namelen. We're going to do it here, and we're also going to do it here. Now the code to load our file is kinda, we're just gonna copy paste it from here real quick. If I only remember where it is. Here it is, it's this one. It's not particularly complicated. I'm just gonna write it myself. Okay, we're gonna open the file. We don't have the full file name. Okay. That with full name. Gives us the path for our file that we're going to be opening. We're going to be opening our file, and we're going to be putting it inside of a file descriptor that we're simply going to, whoops, allocate. Oh, there's a type called file already. It's now F. Okay, path data. And we're going to then free path, string free. I just created that function for a reason. String free path. And we're going to store the result of this open operation. We're going to return 0 if we're not able to open our file. If we are able to open the file, we're going to read that file. Which we're going to do by mallocing based on the size that we're told by the file descriptor. And we're going to read from the file descriptor into the buffer the size that the file descriptor specifies. And if that, what the fuck did I do? If that is not equal to fd size, then we're going to print fail to read file s, again with the path.data. So this now moves all the way down here. If instead we were able to read the file, what do we do with it in the launcher? Once we've opened our ELF program as a file, we close it. And then we load the ELF file with, okay, this part I am going to copy. Because it should be enough to just return load ELF file with the name of the program, that's prog name. The actual file itself, which is called program. I'm not sure what this data is. Oh, not the data, it's the path. That's important. It's the path to the file. So we're keeping that. We're keeping that. Jesus Christ. We need that again. Okay. Okay, that's good. I just need to have the process loading elf file.h. And that should load our fillet. Okay. To ensure that it worked, maybe don't delete everything. Just delete like this. Okay, so this one's going to return a deprecated message. So if it works because it opens the wrong cat file, then we'll know immediately. If instead it works because it opened the right cat file, then good, we're done. You can have command line thingies in a command line now. I don't know what's up with the terminal looking like this, but well, this one we didn't account for. Okay, so this address is wrong. Whenever it says math1, this one is wrong. But it's the terminal that's crashing, interestingly enough. Specifically in the scheduler 356. That would be in process scheduler 356 read proc. Oh, wait. Shit, hold on. What crashed is it trying to access the output of the process. Okay, it shouldn't crash. Just to be clear. That's not a thing that we want to have happen. But I'm pretty sure this means that it is trying to read from the process. The process is just not writing to the correct file for cat. So it cannot read anything. But yeah, I'm trying to prevent the crash from happening at the same time. What I don't know is which one of these two is failing. So right, there's another on Twitch, so we're gonna take a little break. Oh, terminal is back to working now. Alright, good for you. File and cursor both have valid values to them. But, yeah, no, we're not quite there yet. Again, the way that the system is set up makes sense that this wouldn't work, but I don't want it to crash the entire system, so I want to detect what's happening there. Wait, I could have just looked at... Hold on. No, wait, what the f... That's not what I meant to do at all. Just wanted to look at this. The address that's crashing doesn't make any sense. 464C457F. Okay. That address is the ignore cursor. So that's not working. The file that we receive is not actually open, so this is returning garbage data here, which it shouldn't be. And yeah, this address is completely different from the others. That's why it crashes. All right, I'll be back in 3 minutes. Okay. I made it back just in time. What can I say? Don't get an automatic trash can. It fucking sucks. I was unable to open it because it just refused. And that's what I spent most of this break doing. Just opening a trash can that just wouldn't open for whatever reason. At the very least, it's not like smart or connected to the internet. It doesn't have AI, so that's pretty cool. But yeah, for whatever reason, it was just like, yeah, you're not opening me today. Whenever I tried, it just closed itself back. Okay, I was thinking about what may be going on here. And most likely, the clinked list is returning a value that it shouldn't. It's returning a valid value when it shouldn't really do that, because we're trying to open a file that isn't actually open. We're trying to read a file that isn't actually open. That doesn't make a lot of sense. So the thing is, I want to refactor the way that all these things work. Like I said, major file system refactor coming soon. I didn't have hash maps until recently. Now I do, so I want to use those for this type of thing. And so that means most likely we can just ignore this problem for now, to be completely honest. And if it still happens once I then I'll deal with it if it happens after the refactor. I was also thinking, why is the folder called bin? Genuinely have no idea. Probably because of binary. But it made me think about, nobody fucking asked you. It's short for binary, okay. It's funny how even if my system isn't necessarily based off of Linux or Unix or anything like that, I still make assumptions for things that I guess it's binary, right? And even here they're telling me it's binary, and in chat they're telling me it's binary, but it's an assumption that I made. I didn't know. I didn't research this. It's just an assumption that I made. I never questioned it. I never bothered. I was just like, yeah, you put the binary in bin. That makes perfect sense. Kinda want to be a little bit more intentional about the choices that I make. So let's it is supposed to be a standard directory, so I like that it's a standard directory. I don't know about the path. I don't know that we're gonna have a path in my system, for example. Like, these are the kinds of things that I need to consider, because right now I only look in one directory. Do I want to allow you to define a list of directories that you look into? Or do I just want to tell you whatever binaries you want to make available, put them in this folder? I'm aiming for the second one, but not entirely sure. See, I didn't fucking know this. USR actually means Unix System Resources. I thought it stood for user. But then you think about it and it's like, fucking no, obviously not. Some differences. Bin stands for binary, contains binary files and also commands mostly used by users. It is also the default path for command execution. Sbin contains special commands that are generally fired by super user. Lib stands for library. Proc stands for process. See, this one, yeah, knew that. Root means root user. Again, USR doesn't make any sense that it would be user. Because they're not fucking user. They're system resources. So why would they be put in a folder called user? They're put in a folder called Unix System Resources, and that makes sense. Now, as to why Unix System Resources, that name was maintained in Linux, when it's Unix-like, but it isn't Unix. Mac could make an argument, because if you dig deep down, you'll find some Unix code. in its kernel, but like even then, different different. I completely lost what I was saying. Okay, never mind. I hope you understood what I was saying because I fucking didn't. I just lost it. I should call it RSR for Redacted OS System Resources. See, it's a question of, do I need that folder? Do I need... I'll give it whatever... If I do need that folder, I'll give it whatever name I think is best for it. Etc. and MISC was in the end really a config. Yeah, etc. Why is etc a thing? I don't fucking know. etc means everything else. That makes sense, yes. But in the end, it's configuration files, user management files, security files, and other things kept in here. Why? It's also, yeah, heavily used for startup, to the point that QEMU, in its vert board, so the one that I mostly use to emulate my system, provides a firmware configuration peripheral. And that one provides a bunch of files, including, for example, the one for the GPU is etc ramfb. For the ramfb GPU, it's found in etc ramfb. So you find the file in the firmware configuration. That's how you access it. There's a bunch of other files there. I don't even know what they are right now. This is the only one I've used, but yeah. So even some etc inside of QEMU is part of the virtual file system. Okay, let's keep binary for the time being. I might change it to CMD, perhaps. But maybe not, because it isn't always commands. Because okay, when you use it through the terminal, it's a command line tool. Because this is the command line. But it won't always be used from there. So bin for binary maybe makes sense. And then maybe I could just create, instead of RedOS, what's my current path? RedOS user, it could be app. Because like we have only 8 entries for a directory and we're only too lazy to invent more names for the system parts. That's another thing with the compatibility with Unix. It really just makes you wonder, like, why did Linux feel the need to call this directory USR for Unix system resources when you're not using any Unix code? Oh, because Unix users are used to that. But they're in a new operating system. It's not a big deal to have to get used to a new 3-letter code for LSR or whatever. Pretty sure most of us thought that USR meant user. And we never questioned the fact that the USR folder is for configuration stuff and it has nothing to do with the user. It's actually for the system. It has nothing to do with users. We never considered that. So we just thought, okay, USR, user, right? Makes sense. Especially when you haven't used Unix, you have no fucking clue what Unix even is when you're learning how to use Linux or Mac. I would call it system resources. See, I would have called it just sys, but sys I'm pretty sure is taken up by something else. So I guess you could call it bro if you want. Isn't he majestic? Sys is kernel stuff, yeah. Sys is, I believe, kernel configuration stuff, not the actual kernel. I remember we looked at the directory structure a while ago and saw that. FHS was full of legacy garbage. No wonder the standard got abandoned and will never be modernized. Yeah, exactly. But see how we got here? I was just like, okay, where do we put commands? Bin. Easy, right? And to be fair, like I said, bin, probably gonna keep that one. That name is fine. And I'm not gonna change it just for the sake of being different. That would be stupid too. But it is a question that I want to ask myself. When I make a design choice, why am I doing it? Am I just doing it because this is how it is in most operating systems that I know about? It's like, I know I don't love Linux and I've mostly used Mac, but they're very similar to each other because they're both POSIX compliant. And I don't know Windows at all, so I don't even know how they do things. I'm assuming it looks like a war zone in there. No fucking clue. But yeah, next time I make a decision like this, I want to like properly be like, okay, this is why I'm giving it this name. I'm calling it bin because it's for the binary. The original Bell Labs Unix, a 2-disk setup is customary, where the first disk contained startup programs while the second contained user files and programs. The second disk was mounted at the empty directory named USR on the first disk, causing the 2 disks to appear as one file system, with the second disk's contents viewable at USR. Interesting. Backwards compatibility. Backwards fucking compatibility with a system that isn't actually compatible. Pretty sure you couldn't just take a Unix program and run it on Linux or on Mac. So what the point of backwards compatibility is? None. It's just for a fucking certification. It's just for POSIX compliance. I'm assuming you couldn't run a Unix executable on Linux and Mac. Maybe you can. Like I said, Mac contains actual Unix code, so maybe. But I think not, because it also contains like a million other kernels all put together. Mac is kind of like, you know those posters in City, like advertisement posters? That they just get taped one over the other, over the other, over the other, and then you see like people who take up like a stack like this big of advertisements. This is the Mac kernel, essentially. That's MAC kernel, not the Mac kernel, which is the same thing but spelled differently. Third-party devs put their files in all kind of random places on Windows, and it's ridiculous. On Windows only? That's pretty much everywhere. Could you rate my PC setup so far? Can I roast it? Is that okay? I'm gonna wait for your permission before I look at it. Yeah? Alright. Let's see. Alright, you got cookies, so -1 already. Okay. Okay. You have a Predator. Not amazing, but alright. Okay, Acer Predator. Curved monitor. You know what? Yeah, what the hell? Actually, the monitor that I have OBS on is slightly curved. Not a whole lot, but a little bit curved. What I absolutely wouldn't recommend, especially for gaming, is a 21.9 ultra wide monitor. I got one back there when it was like cool to do so, and a lot of games are just not compatible with it. It fucking sucks. Also, I'm pretty sure for streaming it's also a problem. Alright, 12-core processor, AMD. I'm not that familiar with AMD, so I cannot, just with the name of it, tell you what's up. The CPU is last gen? See, I don't know that. Arctic Liquid Freezer. By the name alone, sounds pretty cool. Sounds pretty cooling. MSI Mag Tomahawk Wi-Fi ATX AM5 motherboard. Absolutely want fucking Wi-Fi, because I may or may not have gotten a motherboard without it. And this is why there is an Ethernet cable running from the computer that I'm streaming on to the Linux computer that I sometimes stream from. Because it doesn't have fucking Wi-Fi. I also have a Wi-Fi dongle somewhere, but it kind of started malfunctioning. 64, nice. 64 gigs of RAM. Plenty. That's more than enough. NVMe 2 terabyte. Pretty sure I have the same one. So reliable, pretty good one. Don't know about Radeon GPUs, sadly, so I cannot give you an opinion on that. Besides the GPU and the CPU, which are like the most important thing, and me not having a fucking point of reference because I've never used either one of them, I would say pretty good. But yeah, I'm skipping the most important stuff. Also, like, if your CPU is last gen, I don't think it's that big a deal. At least that's how it is on Intel. I don't know about AMD. It does look like you're in 3 years. Then you might want to get whatever CPU and whatever GPU is the most recent by then. Like, I'm pretty sure in 3 years, 64 gigs and 2 terabytes is going to be enough. But for CPU and GPU, you're going to want to get something more recent that hasn't been announced yet. And yeah, if you have a dedicated GPU, you absolutely would not need a integrated one for gaming anyway. CPU cache size. Comes out to 2,624. So let's say you have 3 years to make it 3,000 and then you can get the latest gen. It's nice to be able to at least boot. Honestly, when I had an integrated GPU, it was just a hassle because sometimes programs would default to that one and I just had to like manually move them over to the dedicated one. Besides that, not really much of a point to it. The question is, are you planning on using Windows, Linux, Redacted? 3 years from now, maybe it'll be able to run fucking games on it. Well, except it's ARM only. So, not that. For service when the main GPU dies? Yeah, I guess. Who knows? Maybe by then someone will make a pull request and make Redacted available on Intel. And then I'll have some proper gaming. Honestly, that would be nice. I just don't want to deal with that godforsaken assembly language. I don't want to do that. I mean, I guess you do want to have like some slight integrated GPU, even if it's not good, just in case. But don't most of them have one? I genuinely don't know, but I feel like most of them have one. Oh, apparently not. Okay, from what I see. I wish my CPU had an integrated GPU. Clearly not. NVIDIA have no proper hardware acceleration video decoding support on Linux. Yeah. Though, to be fair, I haven't had any issues with NVIDIA, but I don't know if I'm using my GPU to the most of its ability when I'm using it on Linux. All I know is every once in a while it decides to use the wrong fucking driver and messes up my entire setup. But besides that, works pretty well. Again, I'm just not sure if I'm using all of its features like I could do on Windows. I do feel like there's a little bit of a performance hit, so probably not. Mobile version of a 350. Oh, gaming laptops are definitely not worth it, I'll give you that much. I used to have one, but yeah, absolutely not. Never again. They're just not customizable, that's the problem. Whereas I've had the same desktop PC for like 7 years now. And kind of, is it TC? No, whose ship is it? Yeah, Theseus' ship. Ship of Theseus, I guess. Which essentially means that I've replaced literally all the parts of my PC, but is it technically the same one or is it a different one? I don't know. Wait, is there a part? Maybe the RAM is the original one? Oh, and the CPU is the original one, but once I upgrade those, I'm gonna have to get real philosophical on whether this is the same PC that I bought in 2018 or not. Because everything else has already been replaced. And yeah, just gaming laptops are not worth it. Because once you you do need to pay more money for the same performance, and then you can't really upgrade. As long as it's the same CPU, GPU, motherboard, it's the same PC. So out of those, it's just the same CPU. And again, I'm not opposed to getting another CPU for it. And more RAM. I don't need them right now, so I haven't. But once I do, once either these start failing or they're not enough anymore, I'll buy new ones and then the entire PC will have been replaced. The case I've replaced twice. I think it technically has the original hard drive, but I don't even use it. It's just there for archiving stuff, but I don't even use it for that. GPU I upgraded last year, I believe. And sad to say, it's one of those fucking AI powered GPUs, but oh well. Literally cannot escape it. What else? Motherboard died like 3 years ago, so I replaced it. And that's when I first replaced the case. Then I replaced it again when the new GPU came in. It was too big. Power supply unit, I changed with the GPU as well. So yeah, the whole thing is different except for the CPU and the RAM. Unless there is a part that I'm forgetting. Maybe some cables, I guess. They're technically the same ones. But most likely not, because most of those parts come with cables and you want to use the latest ones that you have. Like I said, when I buy a new CPU and a new RAM, we'll get philosophical about it. We need to consider, is it the same computer that you bought in 2018 or is it not? I think for now, it counts. Because it still has some of the original pieces. Okay. There is a problem. Kitten over here has a problem. It needs to open its standard output. It has no way of doing that. Ideally, you can do that without using this by just specifying a file descriptor with ID2. ID2 will stand for standard out. ID1 will be standard in. I don't think I've built stuff for this yet, but I'm not sure. I'm going with no. I'm going with no. Probably not. Where we try to write to it. We're not reading from it. And standard output, to be fair, is yeah. Here. Fuck, how do we do that? Some of this code is meant to open. God knows what this code of even fucking does. Okay, this thing. The process output, that's where we want to write. Okay. If we want to write, we just do a memcpy of the, well, first we need the process. The current process, which we can get from get current proc output. Using the process's own output file descriptor. Writing from the buffer the size specified here, and then we're going to move the output file descriptor cursor by the size that we wrote. They probably need to come up with an elegant way to do this because it kind of looks like a hack. Kind of is. That still crashes. All right, scheduler 357 still from the terminal 47. Okay, hard-coded, write to process output with the proc ID. Okay, so let's see if the two process IDs match. If not, there's your problem. Okay. Process 8. process cat allocated. It's not even able to write to it. All right, it looks to me like I'm gonna have to fix this crash, even if eventually the code gets overwritten. Because we're trying to open a file that hasn't even been touched by the process that we're trying to read from. Because of the scheduler. The terminal is creating the process and then trying to read the process's output when the process hasn't even been executed yet. Which is not necessarily a thing we want to get rid of. So. Where was the crash again? In scheduler 357. 357. 357. Okay, here. It's the fact that this file is wrong. It is not the correct fucking data. And why are you returning incorrect data? You should not be fucking doing that. I just genuinely don't understand how that's happening. Wait, yeah, hold on. What is this address? I need to understand what this address is. Probably nothing there right now. Yeah. All right. We'll put a breakpoint at panic. Continue. And terminal and cat and the bada bing. All right. What's at this address? Cannot access. Right, because the MMU is active. Backtrace. Three, 5, 3. Read proc. Okay, read file calls read proc. That makes sense. Then that. Wait, so the crash is happening here. I mean, here on line 353, not on line 356, like my system said. Shit, I've been lied to. No. Huh? According to Backtrace, we're on line 353, but then the crash is happening on line 357, so how can we possibly be at 353? That doesn't make any sense. All right, there we go. Okay, Okay. We're on file 270. That's a bit hard to read. Okay, no, I don't think GDB is going to be particularly helpful here. Not just because I hate it. Just generally don't think it's going to be super helpful here. All right. Find the open process file. I need to refactor this entire code base. I have no idea what's going on with the fucking file system. Doesn't make any sense. Okay. No, god damn it, not debugging. At first it's looking for file 270 and then for file 269. And at some point, with file 258, it crashes. Again, on line 358. So, here. Even though it hasn't actually found the correct value. Excuse me? Alright, hold on. The terminal is opening two different files. The first one is S1, which is the output of the program. And the second one is... Oh wait, shit, I didn't even notice. Oh, the state is just... Okay, never mind. The second one is this. Just no idea. It checks if the process is active or not, essentially. Hey, best creeper. Okay, output file descriptor. This is 69. And then there's 70. So it reads 70 first, which makes sense because it tries to read the state of the program. While state, it reads again the state of the program. Was this supposed to be a do while? Because this is the same instruction twice. I don't think I was going for that. I think this was supposed to be a do while loop. Nothing's happened so far. I'm just debugging that crash from before. Turns out I do need to look into it. Okay, but besides that, we're trying to open file 270 twice for whatever reason, and it opens. And then we're looking for 269, which is the output one. That one gets opened first, so that makes sense. Which doesn't exist. All these files are open, but not 269. Why? That's weird as hell. Let me do something a little bit reasonable, and here put a print for output I LFD ID. That should tell me what the output of my program is. Make run this time, please. Oh, that wasn't it. No, what the hell is that now? It's a drawing bug. Why is it happening twice in a row? This happens occasionally. All right, there we go. The output is 263. That's exactly the one that it's looking for, but it isn't open. So number one, if you try to open a file that isn't actually open, the entire thing crashes, which is already wrong. And number two, it's not opening the damn file for whatever reason. It might be because the process hasn't even been run once, so it's unable to open it. That's a possibility, but I'm not sure. Okay, so two things to debug. Here in the scheduler. All right. Opening output file for process something, ID something. Okay, so the ID is descriptor ID. That's the one that's been assigned to it. And the process is PID. I was a little concerned because I didn't realize that this code is checking which process to open for. Okay. Yeah, it's I'm not seeing it open anything. Process 8, output 269. I'm pretty sure in between those logs, we're supposed to be seeing process 8, 269. How the fuck did you open this output file without going through that log? This makes no sense. LD is not including a section. Which section is it? LD does some optimization, I'm pretty sure, so. Could be that. CPU decided to skip a line just to be annoying. Yeah. Out B. What in the name of shit is out B, bro? What do you mean out B? Why is there a B at the end of it? Who put that B there? What? I'm so confused. Who put that B there? I do know. Is there maybe a bug with seek? B. Yeah, we're replacing C with B. Actually, pretty sure there was a programming language called B before C. Bell Labs. It's always the usual suspects. It's always Dennis Ritchie, too. Where's that coming from? Alright, I need to see who's putting that B there, because that B is being a real B about this. And fucking up the entire thing. The hell? What am I overriding? Alright. Do we have a syntax of B? Examples. Looks simple. Simpler than C. Without Dennis Ritchie, there wouldn't be most things on this world. Yeah. At the same time, I like to think that something else would have happened. Whenever there is like one single point in which like, oh, pretty much everything relies on the C programming language, or everything relies on, like when we create these standards, you can assume that if this standard hadn't been created, something else would have been created. Maybe it would be a lot worse. Maybe it would be a lot better. I don't know. It does look like a mix of C and Python. So Julia, pretty much. The following program will calculate constant E to about 4,000 decimal digits and print in 50 characters to the line in group of 5 characters. Okay, can we have a more interesting function? We'll print a non-negative number n to the base b, where b is between 2 and 10. No Lua. Bit late for that. I mean, bit early for that. Bit early for literally C and Python too, but you know. If C didn't happen, half the languages I know wouldn't have existed. See, but maybe D would have happened. I'm pretty sure D is also a fucking programming language. Fucking running out of letters here. God damn it. Is there an A programming language? Okay, I read this letter here, but no. I know there is a D. A programming language. There's A plus. Paradigm array. Ooh, boy. Arthur Whitney. He then created K. Programmers couldn't be fucking bothered. There's like A, B, C, D, K, J. You could code in pure binary, yeah. There's fucking COBOL too. Which was actually, if I'm not mistaken, made to look like made to look like real language. You know what would be interesting to see is just a tree of all the programming languages. Influence network, here we go. Here we fucking go, thank you. Jesus Christ, that's a lot. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to be able to scroll through this or what, but it's definitely not able to. Alright, there's C. Holy shit, what is happening to this website? What is happening to you? Alright, it's stabilized, but you can't scroll? Seriously? Oh, you can do this. So arrow keys? No? WASD? Also no? Okay. Okay, so C was, as we know, influenced by B. B was influenced by BCPL. CPL was influenced by no one. The first C compiler was in assembly, then it worked. They rewrote the compiler in C itself. Yeah. Most languages, I believe, are self-hosted. I'm hoping JavaScript isn't, because what the fuck. But yeah, most languages are self-hosted. What's happening to C? Okay, hey, the goat is here. The fucking goat is here. We got C++ only here. We got GameMaker language. We got our Zig. Inspired by JavaScript is fucking gross. An interpreter self. Right. Forgot about that detail. About Go. Hello, Luno and Raiders. How are you guys doing? Welcome. Hey, Stony. How to make Python even slower. There's Pascal. Technically the first programming language that I was taught to program in school, because what the fuck. I went to school this century, by the way. But yeah, apparently they thought Pascal was where it was at. Never once touched a computer in that class, so that should tell you everything that needs to be said. But yeah, this diagram is cool, but it doesn't look like what I expected it to look like. I don't want influence network. I wanted a fucking tree. I want to go all the way back into computer history. Today we're gonna code in COBOL. You know the funny thing about COBOL is if they taught that in university, you could probably make your way into a very lucrative bank job or government job. Now many languages are a copy or direct descendant of another one. Even if you made it about before the language was bootstrapped and was self-hosted, what was the compiler written in? That's a good way to put it. So C would link directly to assembly, for example, because that's where it started. Rust compiler started in, I believe, oh shit, I'm live. Ah, go watch it, everybody. Rust was Clang, and I'm assuming Clang is C, C++. Objective C++ is just fucking insane. LLVM C++. Yes, written in C++. Yeah, so maybe the before it was self-hosted thing wouldn't give you a whole lot of information. Like I said, C would be just assembly, and then there's nowhere to go but like binary from there. So it would be a very boring tree. But I'm not seeing B here. Objective C++ is like for the 4 people that want both templates and message passing. I bet all of them are pure masochists. Watch the stream in the stream. Not gonna do that. History of programming languages. Okay, this might be good enough. Let's begin with 1980 C++, as C with classes renamed in 83. C in 1972. Right, so we scroll all the way. All right, here we go. The regional assembly language, autocode, IPL, Flowmatic, Fortran. Woohoo, boy. The first compiler was in Fortran. Right. That's true. Let me snooze the ad real quick. We got COBOL all the way back in 1959. Jesus Christ, COBOL. Damn. COBOL's old enough to run for president of the United States. RPG. Alright, the original RPG, I guess. Actually older than D&D. APL, older than Apple. And maybe Steve Jobs, I don't know. Snowball. Who named their fucking programming language Snowball, bro? String-oriented and symbolic language. Example programs, please. Output. Hello world. End. Yeah, mainframe's wrong. COBOL software. Yeah. That's why I was saying if you want a cozy but kind of boring job, COBOL. Output. What is your name? Username. Input. Output. Thank you. Username. End. All right. Give us I don't know. Doom ported to Snowball. Or I don't know, Game of Life or something. This program will ask you for personal names until you press return without giving it one. Has a name count. You can increase again. Get input. So this jumps to get input. Okay. Please give me name. Not even a name, just please give me name. Oh, please give me name one. Okay. A string concatenation here. Damn, nice. Just right off the bat like that. Personal name, input, personal name, len1. Output, finished. Name count names requested. But, oh no, this actually jumps to again. So it goes here. Outputs the name, tries again, until this is not one, I guess. Who needs a loop when you can paste 256 times? COBOL is primarily used in business, finance, and administrative systems for companies and governments. Yep. I'm assuming people learn COBOL. It's just a matter of who the fuck wants to actually do that. All right, we got the CPL, Forerunner to C, Speakeasy. We got Basic all the way in 1964. That makes sense. Mumps. Isn't that the name of a disease? Not entirely sure, but I think it is. Highly contagious viral disease caused by the mumps virus. Why would you name your fucking programming language mumps? At the very least, back then, people were probably not super anti-vax. If they even had a fucking vaccine for it, so. BCPL, Forerunner to C. So B came after this. People were making languages for fun, I guess. Programmers were going crazy when coding. Alright, so here's the list. BCPL, Forerunner to B, Logo, then B, Forerunner to C, then Pascal, fourth, C, Smalltalk. Okay, so C is actually 3 years older than B. Smalltalk, Smalltalk, Prolog, ML, Scheme, SQL. Damn, SQL is nearly as old as C. Wow. We got C++, Ada, Common Lisp, MATLAB, AFEL, Objective-C. I still need to see what Objective-C++ looks like, because I need to know. Vertical space being wasted by the dock. Actually, you're right. I haven't configured this computer to... Did I say 3 years older than B? I meant 3 years younger. I usually keep my dog auto hidden. I'm not sure why I haven't done that. LabVIEW, Erlang, Perl. Perl is that old. Although that old is 1987, so not super old. Florida. We got Haskell, Python, Visual Basic, Lua, R, CLOS, part of ANSI Common Lisp. Okay, Ruby, Ada JavaScript, Delphi, Visual, FoxPro, JavaScript, PHP. They're from the same year. The same fucking year people created PHP and JavaScript. And now people just fucking use JavaScript. Ew. Gross. And Java too? Oh shit, okay, Java too. Yeah, 1995 was a fucking big year for programming languages. Ruby, Java, JavaScript, PHP. It's all downhill from here. ActionScript. That's one I haven't heard in a while. Worst year in human history. Yeah. Jesus Christ. Bruce written in Ruby, that's true. ActionScript, C#, D, okay, came out in 2001. Scratch, 2002. A lot of people, when they read my username, think that I make an operating system in Scratch, when I'm saying from scratch. It's technically a programming language. I think as long as it's Turing complete, it's considered a programming language. People made Linux on Scratch? Jesus Christ. Scala, F#. Where's F? How do you skip from F to F, from D to F#? Where's E? Where's F? Skipping half the letters here, bro. This is stupid. PowerShell, Jesus. Okay. Clojure, Nim, and Go. I've never heard of Nim. I mean, I've heard of it. I've heard that name before, but like, never actually heard of anyone programming in it. Linux was made on a PDF too. Jesus Christ. Not even Doom. Oh, yeah, they probably got Doom running on a PDF. On a website in a PDF, Linux kernel. A PDF is fucking insane. It's an insane format. Okay. The 2010s. Crazy years for everybody. But not as bad as 1995. Doom was definitely on a PDF. Like, I don't even have to look it up. I just know that that's the case. We got Dart, Kotlin. Kotlin is actually older than Swift. I didn't know. All right, they tried to make Java a little bit better. They failed, but they tried. Kudos to them for trying. Julia, TypeScript. They tried to make JavaScript better. They didn't make it, but they tried. So kudos to them for trying. Elixir, Swift. They tried to make Objective-C better. They actually succeeded. Congratulations. It wasn't hard. But we've seen the bar. It's very low. How did I demotivate you? What's happening? Hack. Amazing name on that one. Then we got the R's. Rust, Raku, Ring, and Zig. Swift is cursed? Hey. Oh, you're working with Kotlin? To be fair, I've been working with Kotlin at work for the past 2 or so weeks. And fucking React Native since September, so ugh. But yeah. Oh, Swift is cursed because I reverse engineer it every some time. Really? Interesting. Other new programming languages include Elm, Ballerina, Red, Crystal, V, and Reason. What's Ballerina? It's an interesting name. Of course, Dennis Ritchie would have his picture here. He deserves it. He deserves it. This guy's responsible for like half of modern computing and half of the fucking legacy that we've been carried behind us, but oh well. Ada Lovelace published first computer program. I found out the other day on TikTok there are actually photographs of her. I did not know this was a thing. You don't think photos? This photo actually, this photo of her. I didn't know that. Because I tend to think of photographs as an invention from like the 1900s, but they're from the 1800s. So there's pictures of Ada Lovelace. Alan Cooper, developer of Visual Basic. Alan Kay, creator of Smalltalk. Anders Hellsberg, developer of Turbo Pascal, Pedro Pascal, no wait, Delphi, C#, and TypeScript. My dude, not an amazing track record going on there. Next stream, yeah, Saturday. Bertrand Meyer invented the Eiffel, not tower, just Eiffel. We got Bjarne Strostrup. Okay. Average Danish last name, I guess. C++. We got this motherfucker, developer of JavaScript. This motherfucker is correct. Like, most of his Wikipedia page is just how he's made humanity objectively worse. He's like, this is a Wikipedia page, by the way. Like, it's literally just this. And then it's like, oh, he was kicked out of fucking Mozilla for being homophobic. And he created a JavaScript. And then, yeah, okay. There's all this. Like, he lasted for like a month, I feel like. Or maybe I'm making that part up. As CEO of this company because he got kicked out for being homophobic. 11 days, not even a month. He made it 11 days and then he fucking resigned. Fucking well deserved. And then he founded Brave Software. So, amazing fucking track record on him. 11 days as CEO, Jesus Christ. Anyway, fuck that guy. Dennis Ritchie, inventor of half of fucking computers, half of what we have nowadays. Unix, C, Plan 9, probably contributed to a lot of other projects. Stream ending? No? No, it's not. I'm actually halfway through a task. I just took a break to roast programming languages, I guess. Oh, MX is leaving, yeah. Okay, Dennis Ritchie. Holy shit, what a name! Jeff Bezonson. It's like somebody tried to, I don't know, it's like somebody tried to call himself Jeff Bezos, and then he was like, okay, no, I can't do that. That one's already taken, so. Jeff Bezonson. Yeah, that's my name. John von Neumann, okay. It's quite the old name. I haven't heard in a while. Let's see who else there is here. Rasmus Lerdorf, creator of PHP. You're on thin ice here, Rasmus. Alright. These people have some insane names. Robert Gentleman, co-creator of R. Did he name it after himself? Stephen Wolfram, makes sense, creator of Mathematica. Walter Bright, creator of D. Yukihiro Matsumoto, creator of Ruby. Interesting. Okay, quick question. The guy who made JavaScript didn't make it onto this thing here, right? Because otherwise I'm editing Wikipedia during the ad break. What was his name again? Brendan Ike. No, he's not here. All right, we're good. All right, there's an ad started, so... All right, I was gonna run it manually, but there's like a grace period in which you cannot run the ad manually when it says ad starting soon, and that can last up to a minute. But yeah. Oh, wait, hold on. It just got worse. Okay, hack is from Meta. The hip hop virtual machine, it just keeps getting worse. What the fuck is the hip hop virtual machine, bro? And no, PHP is okay. PHP is used to be antiquated, but I heard that now they introduced some interesting new stuff. So good for them. But I haven't written PHP in a million years. But if I have to think about how to do scripting and I have to choose between JavaScript and PHP, I'm choosing PHP. Even old PHP, I don't care. I'm avoiding JavaScript as much as I can. I also just realized how small the little overlay on my... Why is it so small? All right. That language name is like people opening a digit matrix and green ant say they're hacking. Hacker? I mean, a hack? Yeah. Makes no sense. But the hip hop virtual machine, what the fuck is that? Hip hop bytecode. Yeah, I've listened to that sometimes, I guess. It's developed by Meta with the project's source code hosted on GitHub, licensed under the terms of PHP and Zend license. Okay, but what is it used for? Was created as the successor to hip hop for PHP. It was an execution engine. Okay. Interesting. Oh, so hack is a dialect of PHP. Okay, I probably should have read this a little bit closer. Interesting. I did not know this was a thing. People don't know how to name languages. Come on, just because they called it hack? This was Meta, by the way. Like, they actually probably did some market research to come up with this name. They did meetings on meetings, refinement meetings, circle back meetings, put a pin in it. They did the entire thing, workshops. They did the full corporate thing to come up with this name. There's like a team of 50 million people behind the name hack. Don't underestimate corporate inefficiency. I was going to make a language and I ended up bitching out and called it Fossil. That's not a bad name. All right, I actually haven't looked at this one. I skipped this section. I stayed in the 2010s, apparently. It was trademarked? Yeah, it did sound a little bit familiar. So new programming languages from the 2020s. We got PowerFX, Carbon, and Mojo. Never heard of either of these. Microsoft. PowerFX. For expressing logic across the Microsoft Power Platform. Ew. I don't think anyone knows about C3. I think I saw Zoding do a video on it. That's about... I literally just saw the thumbnail. Well, a stream on it, and then the video. Pretty sure, anyway. Wait, he has a lot fewer subscribers than I expected him to have. He has 170 on YouTube. I don't know about Twitch. I've been getting recommendations of him doing like B, but apparently they're not super recent things. They're just in my recommendations for whatever reason. The C3 programming language. They made a sequel to C. Programming in C3 to annoy Zig fans. This is pretty much the only time I've ever heard about it, besides you mentioning it now. WebSocket library in C3. They made a sequel to C. Okay, this is the same one. And then I'm pretty sure he also made a video on B. There it is. We resurrected a dead language. All right, what about Carbon? What's Carbon like? Interoperability with C++, open source, and started at Google. If they hadn't added these stupid comments, it would be a lot more readable. But okay. What's experimental about it? What about this language is different than any other language? What was the point of it? Like, what reason do I have to pick this over this, beside it being 2 lines of code shorter? 3, if you count the fact that there's 2 comments in this one and only 1 in this one. Well, this is ugly, I guess. This is a lot cleaner. Actually, what is the extra line of code? Just the using part. Carbon adds safety checks. To be fair, I did implement this function today. I was like, kind of sucks that I'm not doing any kind of safety checking. And I would overcomplicate the function to do it. String concatenation. Concatenate A and B into destination. And it's literally just 2 lines of code. Yeah. It's a Google project, so it'll be dead soon anyway. Yeah, 100%. It aims to be, okay, so it's essentially the Kotlin and TypeScript and, well, not really Swift. Swift is from the ground up. It's the Kotlin and TypeScript to C++. Cool. And then there's Mojo, a in-development proprietary programming language based on Python, available for Linux and Mac, the best systems. Good job. We don't need the other one. Fucking let it die. And not developed by one of the large companies. Cool. It's based on Python. Based on Python. What does that mean exactly? Builds a multi-level intermediate representation compiler software framework instead of directly on the lower LLVM compiler framework like many languages. Okay. Sure. Mojo is faster than Python. Everything's faster than Python. Question mark? What's this exactly? Is that a comment? What is that? Why is that? Is that just a string that they put in for no reason? Why are there 3 quotation marks? Is it named after the Powerpuff Girls villain? Forgot what his name was. This guy. But okay, what in the genuine fuck is this? Wasn't Mojo specifically made for some shitty AI product? That's all I'm saying. Alright. Alright. Pack it up. Pack it the fuck up. Pack it up. Why is the file name extension a fucking emoji? You know what? I'm going back to programming my damn operating system. That'll never fucking run any Mojo code on it. I won't even fucking support emojis on it. Why not? Because it's hard to type. Because if I want to create a file, I just do this. Instead of... I don't even know how to type an emoji, to be completely honest with you. Besides using this damn thing. Emojis suck on Linux. That's another thing. Like, how do emojis even fucking work on Linux? Your terminal can't even render emojis. They probably can't if it's not on Mac. Why would you do this? I wouldn't be surprised if Mac didn't fully... Nah, it does. That is so stupid. For fuck's sake, look at how I have to delete the damn thing. I never want to hear about Powerpuff Girls villain ever again. Or Objective-C++. That's one I haven't looked at yet. I need to look at what that looks like. Wait, hold on. I know Objective-C++. It's how you combine Objective-C and C++. It's not its own programming language. That's an actual thing. Right. Okay, that's not... It's a little bit insane. It's not super insane. I mean, it's not as insane as this shit. Because, okay, what if you're programming on Linux and you're like, okay, I gotta create a new file. I know that you can use the .mojo extension, but like, what if your company enforces a fucking style guide and requires the emoji? You're like, you have to do this every single time. Is it because AIs love to use emojis? Is that how that shit happened? Looks like corporate slop. Yeah, it looks so unnecessary. All of them look like that. Like all those 3 languages, I'm just like, what's the point of them? What benefit is there from using your language over the ones that already exist that I already know and I know don't need a fucking emoji? Okay. Either way. Maybe because I'm not using fire emojis, have a little bit of an issue when I'm trying to open a file, proc 8 out, someone's attaching this damn B at the end of that. And I don't know who did that, but I need to stop that from happening. All right, so I even forgot, like I spent so much time doing that I don't even remember what, I didn't even remember what the actual bug was. My hair's bothering me, so I'm just gonna do that. Okay, in the kernel, in the file system.cpp, open file. Oh, you were just here. Where did you go? Here. Okay, here and here. No, let's say here and here. I want you to kprint the search path. I don't know what changed that just messed this up. All right, here it is. We're trying to access proc 8 out B. So from open file, we're already receiving the wrong path. Who did that? Don't make it harder than it needs to be. Petition to force CPUs to finally learn English and not force us to learn their language. Nah. I'm okay with learning their language. Gotta bridge the gap a little bit. Also, English is even more flawed than the most flawed programming language, so fuck that. Hell no. Okay, so somewhere between here and here, someone's adding a B to it. I don't know who. Is it Fopen? Is it the damn syscall that's doing that? It's a possibility. So process, syscall, Fopen. We're actually right here for whatever reason. It's probably this. Imagine having memory leaks in your logs. That's the second time you say that, but I don't have a memory leak in my logs. I have a memory leak in my file open. It's different. Opening rec path. I'm assuming this is where it goes wrong. Just why didn't it happen before? Opening. Ok. So here it is actually correct. But then at some point this memcpy is turning into it should be a string CPY. I believe that's now a function that I have, so I might just you know what? Let's write some cursed code. Who gives a shit? Why is the semicolon single? Why not? You know what? Let's make it worse. No. Can you do that? Apparently not like that. You can do it like this. Hey, there you go. I'm just writing some cursed code for the sake of it. It's Halloween. You gotta scare you somehow. Yeah, so it's memcpy that considers this to be 11 characters. It is. So, holy shit, it's just uninitialized. Motherfucker. How long did it take me to debug that? I know I went on a big tangent looking into fucking programming languages, but uninitialized strikes again. Uninitialization? I don't know if that's a word. Maybe uninitialization would be a word, but let's not make it a word. See why CPUs should not speak English? You see why they fucking shouldn't? I lost it. I fucking lost it. I don't know what the word was anymore. Uninitialization. Crazy how the biggest vulnerabilities and bugs come from simple things, right? It's always the same shit. It's always the same shit. All right, let me just take a quick look with source tree at what I need to undo. This. It's all in one file, really. There. Is there a warning for that? They don't work unless you enable optimizations. Well, optimizations still don't work on my system, so I guess we don't have that right now. 100% reliable detection of uninitialized variable is impossible. It is? If you say so. I guess I'll believe you, but I'm not super keen on believing you. NT's implementation of a function discovered a bug from San Andreas that wasn't discovered during its entire development. The game San Andreas? GTA? Or I don't know what other San Andreas you could possibly be talking about, but yeah. Good night, Axolotl. Axolate. Okay, so that's fixed, I guess. Fucking uninitialized variable again. Fucking again. And this is why you should memcpy. That's another thing that I should technically have done properly. If I had used string copy instead of memcpy there, this wouldn't have happened in the first place. But oh well. Okay, that's fixed, but it prints deprecated cat, sad meow. So that's not supposed to be happening. That means that it couldn't find the correct cat program to run. Right? Or did I change this one? No, this one's fine. Okay. This is the deprecated one. Ok. And I'm not seeing it saying anything about being unable to read the files, so let's just add some logs. And hello and goodbye, Cosmo. Yeah, so that's not quite right now, is it? Something's weird about this. Okay, am I even going in the right directory here? Shared RedOS user shared RedOS bin. That is correct. $85 files. I don't think that's correct. 85 files is definitely not correct. For a file of a folder that contains 1 and maybe a dot and dot dot. I guess those are also included. Again, shared RedOS bin. That should be fine. What about if you search inside of user? A 133 files. $133 files. Wait, no way. Holy shit. No, 133 files. It still contains, allegedly, the same amount. $85 files for this one. I don't have that value hard-coded anywhere, no. It's probably the 9p directory listing that's not working. Right, so instead of this, I should be able to also do boot, which is the non-9p version of it. But that didn't change much. Although now it contains 3 files, which makes more sense. I guess dot, 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 and Okay, I'm seeing what's wrong. Most likely in the launcher. Yeah, this is missing. So that's why all the file names are wrong. It's just a matter of why. This goes inside a file. Y9P reports a lot more files than there actually are. It's reporting 83 of them. And that was kind of causing that issue where the system would just crash randomly after you ran a few programs. Okay, now it works. Different file, cat.elf, yes, but case insensitive true? Not quite. Not quite. Unless I constructed the full name wrong. Whoop, 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 whoop. Deprecated cat still. Is full name empty? Okay. The kernel is already mostly there, but yeah, right now I'm adding the functionality for running binary programs in the terminal. So yeah. Fuck's sake. Okay. So I had some string concatenation functions, but they use the string class. And they only concatenate 2 more string classes, which means allocating 3 different strings and then having to free 3 different strings. So as a replacement for that, I wanted to simply use a string concatenation function that uses char pointer strings, where you provide the buffer that you're going to be writing into. So I create the buffer, right? I'm mallocing it. Then I use the buffer right here, here, and here. And then I even print it here. And then I free it here. Looks like I forgot to actually give it a value. Whoops. FUK. It's about right. Well. Unknown command cat. Interesting. Failed to open RedOS bin. Where? Vertio 9p error. Failed to open RedOS bin. Failed to open file. RedOS bin again empty. Because now I'm freeing it. Jesus Christ. Yay. Okay. User process cat allocated, and it's the new cat. The new cat is here. Except apparently the page allocator crashes. You never want your page allocator to crash. Page allocator, really? From cat C7. Okay, well. Audio plugins, interesting. Yeah, actually someone doing quite a lot of pull requests for audio on my system. Speaking of which, actually, I've been testing out a few startup sounds for the system. So I have a new one here. I disabled startup, so let me just quickly get it activated, and you guys can tell me what you think about the startup sound that I just added. If you think I should keep it or not. But only I remembered where. Okay, here. All right, let me know what you think. This is what it sounds like when you start. I think it's, you know, simple, quick, not a big deal. Easy, not too loud. No sound? Oh, it might have been just really quiet, actually. God damn it, now I'm playing it again. Alright, that should have played, I believe. So yeah, something simple, you know, not too loud and not too invasive, if you will. I'm actually gonna disable that again. It's not standard. Alright. Trust me, that sound is memorable. Sad that nobody got the joke. Okay, I think I disabled it again. Yes. All right, so back to fixing the bug. Which I forgot what it was now. That was a little bit of a... That was not a serious sound. Don't worry about it. There's actually like a chime, simple chime that's built in for when you don't have a startup.wav sound, but because I have one, it doesn't play. And I should probably delete that. That's most likely a little bit copyrighted. No, this is not it. It's a little glitchy, but it's there. To be fair, it's mostly for testing. That's why I have it disabled. There, disabled. All right. What was the bug? Again, I completely forgot. It gets to cat7. So it tries to write to the file descriptor, and then it crashes, interestingly enough, on an allocation. What allocation are you doing, my brother? Let me test it again. Oh shit, hold on. Holy fuck, okay, I did not consider this. My virtual memory support is very limited right now. I'm not even having different address spaces for different processes, which means the cat and the terminal are in the same fucking address space. They're overlapping each other, which is crazy. God kind of not super crazy because, yeah, I copied the linker file. So by definition, they're both going to go to the same place, but surprisingly, that didn't create any issues. Still says it's mapped. Did it not clean? I should actually come up with a little, like, startup sound that sounds somewhat good. Might as well put all the music production knowledge to good use. Oh wait, it doesn't even crash anymore. Okay, that was the issue. Wait, no, it wasn't. Address size fault. What in the name of fuck is an address size fault? I made it too big, didn't I? Address size fault. What the fuck is an address size fault, bro? Never heard of that one before. Never in my life have I heard address size fault. Oh, it's not actually an address size fault. For whatever reason, that's just what I default to. It's actually an unknown issue. Because it goes to this address and it doesn't find anything. Do I have a dump command on this? No. Can I copy a dump command on this? Okay, except this, and we can just do elf into dump. Okay, and then cat dump. Can I do that? Yeah. Okay, cool. So 1200, there is actually an address here. So why the fuck did it fail? There is an actual instruction located at 120,000. 120,000, that's wrong. Again. Should be 12,000, but still. I didn't use multi-threading. Already mapped. Null pointer accessed. It's kind of interesting. Okay, let's just put it at 20,000 then. Make clean, make run J8. Cat, process ended. Okay. Searching, output, process has crashed. 20,000. FAR 0. Why the fuck are you crashing there? This instruction. Which one of them have I not set up correctly? It didn't even get there. It didn't even feel like stopping at the breakpoint that I set, essentially. God, I love GDB. Always works so well. Let's try it again. Did not stop. My brother in Christ, how can you possibly crash at 20,000 and not go through 20,000? Holy shit. I'm just an idiot. That's how. No, it was supposed to be XI PC undefined. What the fuck are you saying here? A9 B77 BFD. That's what I'm expecting to see, not this shit. Looks like we're not loading the valid data from the process because what the fuck is this? Wait. Shit. I'm starting to run into a lot of limitations, I feel like. Hold on. The ELF file loader. No. Should be good. Okay, so I'm clearly loading the wrong data into the code. Into the thingy here, I mean. So let me bring these logs back. No, not debug mode. ELF file crashed. Cool. Okay. It just keeps getting worse. Wait, the terminal begins at 10,000? No wonder all that stuff was taken up. Okay. Yeah, this is probably wrong. Okay, so when I load an ELF file, I just wanted to copy this thing. When I load an ELF file from the launcher, this one works. It just uses the file size with the file data that is being malloced here for the entire file, reading the entire file, closing the file, checking the file. No, it's good. So I'm doing the exact same thing here, right? Allocating space for the program, reading into the program, passing that, and that is the size. Although the bundle here, I don't know what that is. That's not being used right now. That should be empty, most likely. Right, the bundle is used to access the program's own resources inside of its package, but it doesn't have a package. So bundle should be empty. Don't think that's going to change anything, but all right. It looks like the data that I'm copying into the program as if it was the program is not actually the program's own data. It's something else. And I'm not sure what that something else is. The ELF file is not different or too different from the other. Files, so not expecting it to have a completely different format. Text starts at 10,000, vert 20,000. RO data starts here, vert this. Debug info starts here. Debug, 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 debug. There's only RO data. Okay, by any chance, what is the entry offset here? That's probably wrong. If it's not 10,000, I'm copying something else into the program. Entry, 20,000. But the text section starts at 10,000. So I'm copying something entirely wrong. Okay, that's the problem. I really need to make my ELF file loader a lot smarter than it is, but it currently isn't. Program takes up this much, begins here. Program takes up this much, begins at P offset, Not program entry offset. I see what the problem is. That's the value that I should be passing to it. Oh, but now it crashes this one. God damn it. Okay, because this one begins at 0, whereas the text really starts at 1000. Okay, so no, what I need to, the address that I need to pass is these text sections. Okay, that should make more sense. I start loading my program where I find this text section of it. I'm assuming the text section is the first one. That's not really correct, but it's a little bit more correct than what I'm doing. Still crashed the shit out of the program. Yeah, that's not right. What exactly did I change here? This is weird. I do expect it to have the same value as... Oh, no, it's... Okay, I'm confusing two different values here. 19 BC is the entry point. So that part was correct as the program entry offset. The problem is that inside of here, I am using... Where is it? Wait, hold on. Let me think about this. The terminal has a program that begins at 0. Its text section starts at 1000, and the actual main function is at 19 BC. So it claims to have allocated the terminal with address 1000, but that's not exactly right. The address is 19 BC. Let me see. the program counter is entry. Oh, that's why it's crashing. Yeah, because I'm passing the wrong value. It should be 19 BC, so that was the mistake that I made here. If I recompile now, I believe it will work. It did work for a bit there, but not entirely. Okay, I understand what I need to do. I need to start copying based on this address, not on the entire file. So that is create process file plus p offset. I hate this. Oh, but it's trying to access an actual value. All right, let's see if it's actually loading the program by putting a print at the very beginning. That was supposed to be meow, but oh well, that failed. Yeah, okay. The program is running, it just crashes. All right. Okay, so that can be gone. That can go back to being commented out. These can be removed. All right. Fix is just one line of code. Okay. Then the process itself runs, but crashes at linked list open file descriptor find read file file char size lambda open file descriptor struct. Whew, that's a lot. On linked list HPP. Kind of a scary one. Because how did you get there? From syscall 207. Oh, this is a CPP file, so this is the part that's failing. Got it. Oh, okay. Well, it's supposed to be that you can open file descriptor 2 to open output for your program. But this is not set up for that. So it fails because you it doesn't find a correct file, and somehow that means it fucking just crashes the entire thing, which it shouldn't. It crashes inside the Lambda, most likely because the descriptor no, not debug. Descriptor 2 makes sense. And then the system crashes. This math.h is so annoying because it's always wrong. And probably this thing is crashing. That would make sense. Actually, I don't know what auto is. Oh my god. Linked list node. See, this is one of the few that I shouldn't be bothering with because it is going to change eventually. Yeah, that's not the syntax, is it? Find returns a node. Okay, so clearly the syntax that I'm using here is wrong. Is it just node? Because you don't know what a node is. You don't like auto, do you? Yeah, you do. Apparently crashed on memory.c 125 from boot. I don't think that's right. And yet it's not entirely wrong. User process terminal. Failed entirely, huh? So it didn't like that I used this thing. All right, so I'm assuming the correct syntax would be this shit, your mama, node, private within this context. Oh my god. Can you just tell me what you return? No. Fuck private. You're private. Jesus Christ, that's so annoying. And all that for it to continue crashing. Which it likes to claim is from boot.s, but it isn't. This is from cat.elf. No. This is the terminal. Ah, fuck's sake. Everything's crashing. Everything is crashing. If result is equal to 0, okay, so that part is done. That part, I think... Is it even fucking working out? I'm not even sure. Oh. It is now. Okay. The problem is, of course, if the file descriptor ID is less than 256, this is a reserved file descriptor, and it's reserved for the module, even if it isn't open, for the output or input module for the system. Well, so actually, specifically, we're looking for ID2, which I should probably hard code somewhere. Not sure where though. This. So, if the file that you're trying to open is fd out, oh, this is a C file, god damn it. Here. It's fd out, then you're going to go directly into the correct module. Yeah, you have to do it like this. Oh, what a pain in the ass to do all this. So poorly hard-coded. Yeah, I have to do it like this. To do. This is ugly. Expected 4 arguments for a right. What's the last argument? A file offset. Take that from the descriptor. Cursor. Why is that even necessary? Alright, whether this works or not, I'm ending the stream after this. It's been a while. I don't even know what I'm doing anymore. Yeah. Let me see what the error is. That's the exact same thing as before. Okay. Well, I guess on Saturday, I will know what the issue is. I'm not going to stream on Friday, but I am going to stream on Saturday afternoon. That's going to be at 3 p.m. Central European time. So now that the time has changed, that's 2 p.m. London time. You can translate from that. Just, yeah, daylight savings stuff happened. I'll continue debugging this in the meantime, and hopefully Cat will be working by then, and I'll have this whole thing working. If I have some time during the week, I might refactor the file system stuff, because it's using a bunch of linked lists because I didn't have anything better than that. Now I do, so I should get rid of the linked lists. It doesn't currently support these reserved file descriptors, so this is very much a hack. It's not really supposed to work this way. And hopefully I'm going to make it a little bit better. If I'm able to, if I have enough time to do that. All right. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching, for joining today's stream. And I will see you on Saturday, not on Friday.